Good boy. Look at you. You're such a good boy. Look at you. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. Hi, I'm David with DK Cattle Company, and we just had our first calf here on the farm. If you're new to the channel, I'm a first generation Dexter cow rancher out here in Northeast Ohio. We just had our first calf yesterday. It's a little bull, gonna be steer. Little background on him: he was the result of an accidental pregnancy on a now 18-month-old heifer. She's one of my favorite cows, Girtie. If you've seen her in the other videos, she's the black horned heifer I have, now cow. It was a little nerve-wracking having a calf out of a cow that young. Obviously not an ideal situation. I really wanted her to get bred for the first time this summer, not have a calf this summer. But sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it to. And luckily, Girtie did great. She labored for 40 minutes, which a heifer can go as long as 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours on their first calf. So we banded him and weighed him yesterday. That went really good. He weighs 37.9 pounds, which is a really good weight for a first-time heifer. I was hoping that he'd be a little lighter than that, but he came out so easy, so you know, I'm not going to complain. That's good. And then banding him went really good. With those younger animals, you hear about people accidentally banding one testicle or not even getting the testicles on a young animal like that. And after doing it myself for the first time, I could totally see how, because those testicles kind of float in free space when they're this young. So you just really have to make sure that their testicles are down in the sack before you band them. So that's really important. So then once I banded them, I double checked to make sure I felt 2 testicles in there, and I did. So that went really good, and it didn't seem to bother him in any way, shape, or form. He's real happy. Another thing that we really made sure of is, with Girtie being so young, kind of nervous about how good of a mother she was going to be to him. So we just really made sure that he was getting milk from her, and really making sure that he was understood that he needed to go to Girtie to get milk, and he needed to not take no for an answer from her. Kind of creating a good self-advocate in him as a little calf. So that first day, every time he stood up, I kind of would go out there and make sure that he was getting milk from her, make sure that she would stand still for him and everything. But I have witnessed a few times already him get up, yell at her, then her yell at him, and he run over and milk off of her, which is really good. And that's kind of what you want to see. I mean, ideally your cow would just naturally take care of the calf and everything's great, but really making sure on a first-time mom, in a group of first-time moms, I mean, none of these cows have had a calf before, in a group like this, really making sure that that calf is properly getting taken care of is very important. Making sure, you know, they're getting up in an appropriate amount of time, making sure, which I'd like to see him stand within 2 hours of being born, but he stood up within 20 minutes. He was eating within an hour. I mean, he was hitting the metrics that you want him to hit like hours before they needed to be. So definitely wasn't worried about him. He's very vigorous. It is funny though, because we're outside of the pasture right now. We have the fence set up. We just moved him last night. I walked him over here. I just picked him up and walked him over. And he just keeps walking out. He walks right under the fence. We're really not worried about him though, because there's really nothing he can get into outside of this pasture, and he's not going to wander off too far, because he's not going to go too far away from his mom, which is his source of sustenance, obviously. So Girtie's age wasn't ideal for our first birth. Obviously, it would be nice to have her a little bit older, but her temperament and personality was ideal, because she's the nicest cow in my herd. She's the most comfortable with me. So being in there, making sure her delivery went good, and making sure the calf is okay and handling the calf was very safe. If you have a cow that you're maybe not that familiar with, or has never had a calf before, you never had them have a calf around you, you got to be really cautious, because those hormones, when they hit that cow. Every cow is going to be different when they have that calf, and some cows are going to be very protective of that baby. We experienced that a little bit with Girtie when she first had the baby. She kind of pushed everybody away. She didn't really push me away, but she didn't have the opportunity to, because I kept my distance and I let her kind of settle in for a little bit before handling the calf in any way. So just something to be mindful of. I like waited to make this video because I just want to make sure everything settled out good and stuff. Didn't want to like not make it for some reason, and then you know, something terrible to happen. I don't know, you know, you're always nervous about the worst case scenario or whatever. But Girtie's doing good. I'm probably gonna try to milk Girtie because she doesn't really care. Like, she's right here. I'm gonna try. So if I bend down next to her, if I grab her teat, she'll let me. See, she'll let me strip milk off her. She doesn't really care. So I might try to milk her in the next week or two. It's just gonna be hard because she's not halter trained. So to tie her up would be a pain in the butt. But then also following around with a bucket. I'll probably just take, like, I don't know, like a glass or two out of it just to try it, you know, just to see. She has a good personality. If you try to do that with a random cow, they wouldn't let you touch their teats and they'd probably try to kick you. Girtie doesn't care. She's very easygoing. She likes me a lot, so we get along good. But we'll probably try that in the next couple weeks. But let's go find him outside the pasture here and see what he's doing. He's probably sleeping. There's the baby. One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about all this stuff that we did for him is the vaccines we gave him. So there's like probably 20 or 30 different things you could vaccinate for, in the form of probably 4 or 5 or 6 different vaccines, and then like boosters and all that, and then, you know, dip in the navel and iodine and everything. So what did we do for the little baby? Absolutely nothing. So as I've expressed in other videos, I have a very small herd right now. We have a dozen with the little baby here. But I plan on being very big one day. And part of being very big one day is understanding that what costs pennies now will turn into dollars later as the herd grows. So being mindful of how you spend money now will have a great impact on how things add up as your herd gets bigger and you actually start selling animals and things like that. There's an argument to be made that obviously I'm not making any money right now because we aren't, you know, sending animals to slaughter every year right now at a consistent basis or anything like that. So so there's an argument to be made that, like, obviously, you know, as you get bigger, you're going to start making more money. But if you're still spending a bunch, like, how much are you going to really be making, kind of thing? So basically the idea here is to demand profitability through low cost of production. If you don't have to spend a lot to make the product, then it would be very hard to not be profitable. Instead of being like one of these people that is going to try to charge $1 million for their beef or whatever, because that's what they need to charge to make any money on it. We're just going to keep our costs so low that no matter what, we make money. It's sort of the idea. I mean, obviously it hasn't played out yet, but that's kind of where we're at. I figure if you can not vaccinate human children and no one really cares, I can not vaccinate my little calf. He has like a little bald spot right here, so I put a little blot of Desitin diaper cream. We have lots of babies in the house, so we have plenty of that to go around. I've been handling him a lot because I kind of want to use him as a social experiment to see just how friendly you can get a Dexter cow. Like, if you spend a lot of time with him. His mom is one of my friendliest cows too, so to see sort of how he turns out in that way. Another thing I want to show you is how to tell if your calf is going to have horns or not on a Dexter. So let me show you real quick. So what you're going to do is go up to the head and so his ear's right here. Here, he's going to try to move on me. His ear is right here, his eye's right here. There's like a little, there it is. See that little bump right there? That tells me that he's gonna be a horned animal. But that's really easy to find. He's only a day old. I can already find it, and that's, you know, a real surefire way to see if he's horned or not. There's really no reason for you not to know if they're horned or not. There's a lot of people that will say, oh, we're waiting for the genetic test to come back, and it's like, just feel his head, feel her head, whatever it is. It's really not as complicated as some people make it out to be. Also, the name reveal. I forgot to say his name. His mom's name is Girtie, short for Gertrude, obviously. And his name is Gerald, but we're gonna call him Jerry. And as I alluded to earlier in the video, we banded him. We have 2 boys going to butcher next September. So not this September, but next September. That would be the bull that I castrated in the one video, and then Rocky we have is another steer. They will be castrated next September. He will be, butchered next September. He will be butchered September of 27. So 2 years from now. So he'll be like 26 months, 27 months by then. 26 and a half months probably. So that's kind of the plan for him, is that he's going to be good old grass-fed Dexter beef. But that's Jerry. That's all I can kind of think about to put in this video. If you have any questions about Jerry, how his birth went, or anything about calving Dexters or any sort of cows, please leave it down below in the comments. If you've had calves before, what do you vaccinate for? What's kind of your protocol for having calves? I understand everybody does everything different. That's just my mindset on stuff. Don't think that I'm very passionate or crazy into one camp or the other. People take people's opinions too seriously sometimes. So what do you do for your calves? I would love to know. Please like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.